All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back. Continuing along, of course, our Friday afternoon right here in the Cyber Group Trading Room, streaming across social media, Facebook, YouTube alike. Welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. There we go. Great timing from Daniel W. in the chat board, just asking when's the gong going to hit, the sound effect, of course, to commence this meeting. Great to see everybody, though. Jeff, Kathleen, Pat, Bonnie, John, Jose, of course, Daniel as well, Jason, Phil, Lori. All right, guys, so let's hop into it. We ended up, seeing a nice run up on the CYCC trade going into this meeting. Unfortunately, it's starting to dump back down already. I wrote this in the chat board inside our trading room just a bit earlier. CYCC is a low float stock. We've seen this make a huge pump and dump move in the past. It's not always ideal. At the time that we had called it out, it was really right off the breakout from 480. So at the time, it was moving pretty well. I ended up jumping in and out of this trade from 5 to 524. Ended up closing out, not to say right off the highs, but it was pretty much right around the last spike that we ended up seeing the stock make. I think that was yesterday, going into the 2-3 o'clock session there, that huge spike on the 5-minute chart. So I was pretty much just basing my exit around there, take the money and run. And again, we've seen the stock make some crazy pump and dump moves in the past too. So, actually not really much of a need to look further than here. I mean, this at least ran after the market opened up from 949 all the way up to almost 20. But look what happened. Ended up closing lower than it actually opened up. So, we've seen the stock make some crazy moves in the past. We'll put it on our list. I mean, it's hard to not put this on our list leading into the afternoon because, this could be just the very beginning of this run. It's only up 12%. Sometimes I will say, 12% already is a big move, but, I say that more for like the even cheaper stocks, the sub-0 or the sub-1 and $2 stocks. This is pretty cheap too. But, again, with the runs that we've seen the stock make, whether it be pre-market or after the market opens up, we'll put this on our list easily for the afternoon. All right, guys. I was going to copy and paste the news also on this trade. So I already have that set. So the news on this highlights publication of peer-reviewed study of clinical stage CDK 2/9, blah, blah, blah. A whole bunch of stuff way above my pay grade. So I'll copy and paste, at least for all of us here live. All right, cool. So, guys, we have class on the horizon. Finishing up the Phase 2 stock course for all of us inside the trading room here, all of our silver, gold, platinum, diamond students. So, as usual, although normally I don't really make it as fast, we'll go from top to bottom. We'll do a lightning round, kind of scan through the market. ZN was a cheapie early, popped shortly after the market opened up. And then squeezed right back down, looks like. This is kind of what I'm afraid of seeing the CYCC do, but again, we'll keep that on our list for right now. We did all right on this Sun trade. More in the pre-market. After the market opened up, it ended up squeezing up that much higher. Again, though, dumped back down. We ended up taking this at least off the 5 level more so going into the early afternoon. So that's what I was primarily calling out at that point. So, a few of us jumped in from 5. I actually ended up getting in from the next level up, 517. There was an order on the ask. A higher low was already built. So I ended up taking the entry. I didn't know it was going to work out that well. I closed out at 543 off this squeeze up here. There was an order on the ask at 545, 550, you assume also pretty big. Just in and out, take the money and run. And for right now, at least, again, same thing, kind of like pump and dump move on the way back down. ECOR, same thing. This TLSA we ended up seeing run more so after the open. At least this one ended up breaking out at over 7. Got halted a couple of times on the way up. Ended up topping off the high of the day. I mean, pretty much 12. It was a pump and dump from 12, and then right back down now to like 6. Man, we ended up seeing the stock move. It was also yesterday afternoon. Right? We ended up seeing the stock make a nice run up going into the afternoon at this point. So it was on our radar, but we ended up seeing it make a nice gap going into the pre-market, just took off, right away after the open there. Finally, this IZEA, and I kind of say finally because I don't know if you could see it really as vividly, but back on Wednesday, it was a gap up. We were focused on this trade a little bit on Wednesday. Ran up nicely, but ended up making an underwhelming move, dumped back down. Finally, this thing is making the sharper run that we were hoping for 2 days ago. We've seen the stock run going back into mid-June, or early June rather, popped and then gapped up the next morning, dumped back down, and then continued higher. So, it was a fun stock across that week. But yeah, for right now, this is moving up towards major resistance at 150. I would like to think it will make a pop and drop from 150 the first test. I mean, it's a level one stock, so it's not going to shake up or down like 10, 15 cents a bar. The spread's not going to open up. So I definitely think it's worth the opportunity, worth the entry of taking should this begin to move up through that 150. Just make sure that you set a tight stop, though, in case it ends up dumping back down. It's just not worth holding on for a 5-cent loss when you could just get out with a 1-cent loss. So, we'll try and see where this takes us. It's a nice, steady move up. Like I'd said, more of a level one stock in terms of volatility. All right, let's get the price going here now. Just rip through this gainer side. DRIO, I've seen the stock make a pump and dump move in the past two. I didn't see this make the move going into the morning or afternoon. Popped up towards 12, dumped back down. Spread's big. I mean, it's moving up and down a little bit here, but I'd rather pass. It's a Friday. I didn't really expect today to be as well. Normally Tuesday to Thursday, and as we had this week, we had so many companies were posting their earnings, and it was so active within the market. The FOMC meeting on Wednesday, and the aftermath from that. So, normally Fridays don't really see as much. We've actually had a good list of earnings to play off of going into this morning. It was pretty active. We did pretty well, a lot of us here inside the trading room. So, we got to be a little picky. This FLDM, I want to go through very quickly at least. Obviously, this was one of the better trades that we ended up catching, more so going into the late morning, early afternoon. We were a little late to the party. It was making the pop up through 650 by the time we were calling it out. But, of course, it's easy for me to say just the fact that it only continued to move up higher. It ended up making like a little shake through and then back up above 7 to make that extended run up towards the eventual high of the day, 926. I don't know if this is going to dump all the way back down to 6, like a pump and dump like we've seen the others thus far. But, I'm easily going to put this on our list. And if you've been following this afternoon meeting, guys, there's really one reason more so than anything else that I'm putting this on our list. What do you guys think the reason is? For all of us here, trading room, YouTube, Facebook, what do you guys think? I mean, tight spread, liquid order book, definitely. But like Pat just said in the chat board, it's shortable. So I hope this dumps back down to 6. I don't think it's gonna. If it does, oh my goodness, this would be a really great opportunity to actually take on the way down. So yeah, definitely the FLDM. It's probably more of like a level 2, maybe a level 3 stock in terms of volatility if we're kind of comparing apples to oranges between this and the IZEA. CYCC probably more of a level 5 stock, especially if that continues moving up higher. This JMIA is looking great too. I didn't realize the float on this one was pretty low, but we've been trading this across the whole week, right? Needless to be said, this one's going right back on our list. Don't really see much resistance though. That's the only thing I could really comment on. And probably already, just popped and dropped from 1550. Looks like there was a lot of volume here going into 2 o'clock, but that wasn't filled at 1550. So there's probably another major resistance in between those two levels, 1550 here. But you could see right after 230, prints at 39 and 40, but then you get some at 50 here. They add up 5,500, 6,900, 2,200. And then, of course, the prints coming in above, but you could start to see the little shake through at that point. So yeah, I'd still consider 1550 to be a pretty strong level here as a top going into the afternoon. We've seen the stock E-Man make a little push over the last month or so as well. Definitely more level 1. It's near the highs, so I do like that. All right, I guess I'll put this on for right now. I don't want to put like every stock that looks like this on our list because this looks pretty slow, right? Like we already have the IZEA on our list. Mara, Riot, the Bitcoin stocks, as I like to nickname, both ended up making a nice little move up earlier, but dumped back down. Bitcoin made a little pop and drop move today. Wasn't really focused on these two. Pat says the IZEA is moving up currently. All right, we'll get back to that just at the end. DRTT, I think this was from yesterday. Yeah, not really doing much. Mark, unfortunately, this was a pump and dump, but more of a level 1, move. So it wasn't really like that nasty of a shake on the way back down. You had time to close your position out here. We ended up calling this stock out initially off the 155 level. I took a scratch trade. I thought it was going to pop and drop, and then I got out at 155. It only continued to move up higher. So I ended up actually re-entering the trade from 160. From there, I took like 7 cents. ended up moving a lot higher than I thought it was going to. You know, just have to consider the time of the day. So going into 10:15, 10:30 Eastern time, you tend to see stocks begin to, weaken on their trends. So, with this already making a nice run, it was a quick little in and out. Looks like it held support nicely off around like 150-ish, 149. All right, let's see. CYCC we'll just check in with quick. It's already on our list. Yeah, just not really doing much as of now. Let's see. Anything on the gainer side here? The CENX, we didn't go through just yet. This was one of our better moves heading into the afternoon. Most notably on this trade, guys, I don't know what the news is. Maybe I'll just do a quick search right now. But most notably on this trade, we ended up seeing a 100,000 share iceberg order on the ask get filled right at $8.12. So it was pretty interesting. I mean, 8 you would assume to be a big level. Popped 8, ran pretty nicely from there. But notice where the bigger volume spikes are on the chart. Once this popped 8.12, took off. I mean, that's not surprising, but to see this make as steady, as smooth of a trend, it really didn't get that much more volatile after this initial breakout. So, I would expect it to. Ended up making a very steady, nice, consistent run up towards where it is now, 850-ish. And again, same reason as that last one, the FLDM, it's shortable. So if it ends up crapping out the other way, like Pat wrote earlier inside our chat room, yeah, definitely we'll look to try and take this on the way down. All right, guys, how about this? If there's anything else that's up 10% or more, just let me know. I want to zip right through the losers list here while I can, just prep for class coming up in the next few moments. I was saying this earlier, TAOP, PRPO, EDSA, what makes the percent gainers list one day, percent losers list the next. SPAC and the warrants with that as well. SM here is shortable. Not too close to the ground floor, just too slow and not really moving in any direction now. This OPK is likely going to make it to our list. This one ended up doing really well for us, actually. Oh, man, I'll tell you. So I was telling you guys about a couple of profits I had from earlier today, and today definitely treated me a lot better than the last 2 days. Not to say I lost the last 2 days, but it was just really tough to grind out a profit. Early on in the morning, I should more so say. I wasn't taking, a solid home run hit until like 11:30, 12 o'clock this week. So, that was pretty rare. At least today, a lot better. Well, here's a bad trade that I made today. Actually, it was a really good entry, but I made a really dumb decision and I held on. So once this broke above its opening bell print this morning, this OPK off of bad earnings, I ended up jumping in. I don't really read the news. I knew the earnings were out, but with the momentum off the pop from the opening bell print, I jumped in, got in right at 562, ran up beautifully, right? Well, I thought it was going to make a higher low, begin to move up a little bit higher to get up closer to 6. So perhaps that's greed, but I ended up letting like a 20 to 25 cent profit just vanquish. I ended up taking a scratch trade as soon as it hit 562. I was out. Thank God, because look what happened after. So this actually ended up being a way better short, perhaps to some not as surprising. But, once this ended up breaking under that opening bell print 562, really nice drop off. So this was a really, really smooth sailing, easy level 1 short. Now, going into the afternoon, obviously it's near the lows of the day. Right now, there's actually a big iceberg order on the bid, currently at 485, 39,000 share order. And we were just going over that as far as the phase 2 class earlier this morning. If you guys remember, we were talking about just shorting stocks and following level 3, the ECN book. So, with this stock right near where it is right now, I mean, we're definitely going to put this near the top of our list heading into the close, but definitely keep a good eye on that 485 price. I see an order on the bid through Bookmap at 485, which you guys could see. And once it breaks it and moves a little bit lower, TradeStation, the matrix, it'll show an iceberg order at 470. There's like a 58,000 share order I see through Bookmap at 470. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? It's a pretty good list already. I'd be pretty content with just calling it, but I want to just see if there's anything else. GNCA, shortable. Ooh, looks like this could have been a really good opportunity. I say could have because I didn't really focus on this as much. Yeah, dropped off beautifully. Looks like it had a test of 3. Took a little while to get the break below 3, but even once it broke 3 here, smooth sailing. For right now, I don't really think this is worth it going into the last hour. I think there's more interest perhaps on that OPK trade. MoneyGram, MGI, ended up posting earnings, I think. Oh, no. If I'm not mistaken, MGI is actually posting earnings after the bell today. I was doing my earnings calendar going into this morning, or going into this week rather, and I saw, yeah, MGI. Pretty interesting for the stock to be down like 11% right before earnings. You at times see some traction on a stock right before they post, but otherwise this is not like a stock that moves with the market as much. I mean, just dropped off beautifully. But yeah, they're posting right after the bell today. Pretty odd. All right. Honestly, I'd say keep an eye on this trade more going into the post market than at least going into the final hour here. Guys, I'll tell you, if there's anything else, let me know. But I think that'll just about do it. Maybe Shaq, just given the earnings and the drop off earlier today. It's squeezing back up quite a bit. Wouldn't mind just slapping Shaq on our list for right now, just given the volatility. It's more of a level 3 to level 4 stock. Spread will open up, as you can see here. A little pricier too, but nice movement on the way down. Bounced pretty nicely off its low, roughly over 47. And for right now, I wouldn't even be surprised if this moves up towards 50 by the end of the day. All right, so I want to check out. I don't really see much from YouTube, Facebook, nor the chat board even here. Hey, it's Friday. I'll take it. Jonathan does say the JMIA, so that one's just at the highs. It's definitely already on our list. So, this one's looking really good, Jonathan. And Tom's saying, oh, typo, I'm sorry. Was it RVMD halt, low volume? Whoa. Yeah, missed out on this one, Tom. Great call. Let's take the time to at least check the news on this trade. I'll copy and paste as always. RVMD also is shortable. Just right away, I'll look at that. Interesting. There's no news that I see here from Benzinga. The last news snippet that I have here is actually from 2, almost 3 weeks ago. It says RVMD price is 6.9 million share offering at 26 a share. Well, it's right at 26, but that was from July 13th, not today. So, I have no idea what the hell's going on here. Looks very low volume, just as Tom described it. So that's the only reason why I'd be really wary of trading this. The spread's huge on this. You know what? Unless if the spread's tighten, I'd pass. Kathleen says Mark, M-A-R-K, near its opening price. Oh, it's moving back up here a little bit, Kathleen, since where we last left off with it. All right, it already made such a big move up once, Kathleen. That's my only gripe on this trade, really. You normally don't tend to see a big stock like this or a big pop like this make a second clean move up higher after it already made one from the morning. Check out the IZEA, Pat said. Yeah, a little shake up and through 150 now at this point. So hopefully here, Pat, this stock will begin to run higher. Hopefully. 150 was the big resistance here. So, popped it, held it, pulled back under, but very quickly back above. We need to see this make a new high. All right, guys. But otherwise, I think that we have a pretty content list heading into the afternoon. In total, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Right down the middle. All right, guys, sounds good. So I'll post and tweet these as always. For all of us here streaming across social media, if you'd like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, make sure that, well, first and foremost, make sure that you guys like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you guys notify yourself as far as when we're going to be going live or not. We host these meetings routinely every day, but we're going to be doing a lot more kind of sporadic live, streams coming up forward. So, make sure that you guys at least hit the notify or bell, whatever it is, and make sure that you guys know when we're hopping on. For all of us here inside the trading room, you guys know the deal at this point. We're going to be posting the link for class coming up in just a moment. Give me like a second at least to type the picks first, but I'll post the link shortly after for all of us here inside the trading room not joining me in class. Best of luck going into this Friday afternoon, guys. Take care.